This New Orleans Saints preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBet. Bet $100 at WynnBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by IPVanish. IPVanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off. If you go to IPVanish.com/SGP, that's IPVanish.com/SGP. And make sure to check out our new Discord server, the perfect place to interact and sweat bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're listening to SGPN. Let her run and get her done.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Nolans. We are talking Nolans Saints.
They like eating things with claws on them in the great state of Louisiana.
Is that why Jameis Winston went to New Orleans?
Possibly, maybe more volume, a little supply demand lesson for you. When there's more supply, that means it's going to cost a little cheaper. So he realized that free wasn't for him. So he's paying the shout out to Coach O. Little LSU reunion happening down there.
He's on the Saints?
No, I'm just saying he's got some LSU Tigers coming home. Just wanted to say hi to Coach O.
Shout out to Coach O. Jarvis Landry, former LSU guy, is back on the Saints.
But most importantly, and this is going to be weird if you're listening to this in the future, but shout out to football. You're back.
Football is back. And hey, if you're watching live on YouTube, youtube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast, highly recommend it. We got Tyler, we got Faustino hanging out in the chat. More people popping in.
Faustino. What?
Yeah, we got we will be doing a Hall of Fame game pregame show answering NFL futures questions. You can ask us a question live on air, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord to get that link to hop on the on air conversation, get involved.
We will ignore all chat questions.
Yes. Only audio questions from the Discord, and tons of stuff coming. Obviously we're doing 32 NFL team previews. That's here. Draft day is coming next Tuesday, August 9th, noon Pacific. Drafting for Daryl, raising money for a listener who is involved in a pretty bad motorcycle accident. 24 hours. Ryan will be doing 24 hours of underdog best ball drafts live. You can hop in, you can draft with them. Obviously encouraging people to donate. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft day for all the details. Anything else, Ryan?
Well, not only are we going to be encouraging, it's borderline bullying. Because every time, for example, every time I draft a New York Giant, everyone in the chat's marching over. We're going to donate. We have to make a list of players. Every time I draft them, players I like especially. Every time I draft them, we're donating. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're going to do raffles, Sean.
Yes,
our signatures on some items.
Wow,
potentially mini helmets. Maybe I'll sign a draft day poster that you can get nowhere else.
Oh, that would be pretty sweet.
Well, I mean, where else are you going to get me signing a poster of me as Kevin Costner?
What about you signing the puzzle? That would be pretty awesome.
Oh, that feels like, I mean, a completed puzzle. That means I have to complete the puzzle, then sign it, then send it out. Sounds like a job for one of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can throw that on the kitty.
So it's all happening. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft day.
Well,
drafting for
and
Daryl.
cash prizes. I'm sure we'll find a way to throw.
We'll do some. We'll do a little. We'll do some prop bet contests as well. So tons of stuff coming over there as we count down the kickoff to the NFL season. Hey, if you're betting NFL preseason, and why wouldn't you? If you're betting NFL regular season, and why wouldn't you? If you're betting NFL futures, and why wouldn't you? You should be doing it all over at WynnBet. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/WYNNBET. Bet big, win bigger. Of course, they have the bet $100, get a $100 free bet. And some of the best prices on MLB baseball. Of course, a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000 on the WynnBET Casino. So that's some DGens only activities. Again, highly recommend heading over to WynnBET. And the best way to do it is by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. So they know we've sent you. So much action. And of course, don't forget the parlay wheel. Spin the prize for a bonus prize every time you put in a parlay. So much action. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions. WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Nice job.
Shout out to Trevor Easy also in the YouTube chat. Trevor's starting off with talk me off of the Saints.
Uh-oh.
Way too high on the Saints. The WynnBET win total currently is at 8. Pretty little heavy on the juice on the over at -135, under +115.
Well, if you've watched any of the off-season Jameis videos,
No, how could you not?
him speaking, him working out, I'm following this dude into whatever kind of situation he wants to go into. Why not? Passion. This guy's
I don't know if I'd follow him into any situation.
You're right. Any
on
football,
the field.
football
Yes,
related.
football related. I'm 100%
Please
in.
stay on topic, Sean.
On Jameis Winston, we already have a question. Who is the Saints' second quarterback? Andy Dalton or Taysom Hill? It is Andy Dalton.
You're forgetting Ian Book. Yeah.
Is the third, and it seems like Taysom Hill has been completely relegated to backup tight end, some sort of wing type position. He's maybe very interesting because they paid him a bunch. They paid him like kind of quarterback money, and now who knows how many reps he gets. I still think he's going to be involved in the red zone. He's going to be really annoying guy in fantasy because I think he's one of those guys you would never end up starting in fantasy or having on your roster. But I think he could randomly get like 4 touchdowns this season.
The fantasy community should sit down. What happens if Taysom Hill is he getting paid? Is he going to affect the franchise tag?
I don't know. He's
for the tight ends now.
Yeah, I would have to look into it. I don't know.
That's a fun fact
off the top of my head. So 2021 points per game 21.4, opponents 19.7. They were 9-8 straight up, 9-8 against the spread. Went under their 9.5 win total. Ryan, how did we do picking the Saints? What did we have them preseason? What was our record?
Well, preseason, I locked up the under. I was kind of going back. I didn't recall myself being so low on them, but 5-12.
Wow,
was my prediction. I locked up the under.
So you hit the under, but a little off on the wins.
Nailed that. You were 6-11.
Okay, so I was slightly higher. Yeah, I feel like I was all over the map with the Saints. How'd we do picking them against?
Awesome.
The spread?
10-7 for me, 11-6 for you. We started off I believe there was a point in the season where I was maybe 8-1, 9-1 on Saints games. So I definitely cooled off once. I think it was just purely me. I think I probably just had the Saints every week with Jameis.
Yeah,
I was doing well with Jameis out there when the quarterback situation turned into craziness. I mean, remember they had Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill, Ian Book.
Yeah,
some real who's who of
it got bad.
The next class of USFL quarterback in the NFL.
Spring League superstars.
Yeah, that was my first note actually. It's like Sean Payton somehow won 9 games with this. They missed out on the playoffs due to a tiebreaker with the Eagles.
Crazy. Yeah, they probably should have been in.
Jameis was out week 8. Kamara missed 4 games. They were 0-4 in that stretch. Michael Thomas hasn't played in a bit. They missed 16 games from their tackles. I mean, they had, if you recall, they had a couple of games where they were just like COVID schedule losses because the whole team was out.
Yeah. And so Jameis in his 7 starts, 5-2, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Like they looked, and they ended up beating the Bucks. Did they beat them? I think they beat the Bucks twice. Correct.
Let me pull up
I'll double check that, but they always play
most
the Bucks
importantly only 3 interceptions.
Yeah, which is normally
beat the
his
Bucks
issue.
twice, as per usual.
They really have the
Latimer just eating lunch on,
Mike Evans. That is always the such an interesting matchup. So Jameis Winston coming out off the ACL. He looks healthy. He tore it relatively early by ACL standards today.
Yeah, but he is a quarterback.
Yeah,
and he's not. I think some of the fast recovery comes from these ridiculous athletes. I don't know. I mean, I guess Joe Burrow. How long did it take him?
Yeah, he probably went out at a similar time.
Is Jameis more athletic than Joe Burrow? He's older.
I would
That's
think
the
so.
problem.
He's a little older.
It's an age thing. Yeah. I mean, look. I think the expectation is Jameis is going to be ready to go. I do. Yeah. Think,
I mean, he at least in camp, he looks 100%. Now, when you're out there in front of live game action. Yeah. Will he hesitate to plant? Will he have the yips a little bit? That's yet to be determined.
And it's interesting because we'll get there in a second. Looking
because I thought last year with Burrow, I thought he would be off to a slower start. He was a little slow, but certainly, obviously, he got super hot late and in the playoffs.
Similar narrative though, like questions about the offensive line and is that going to affect his ability to step into the pass? Just finishing up last year. They lost a shit like we pointed out. They were actually 25th in the adjusted games lost metric in Football Outsiders and 31st on offense, which is just insane. And last thing, defense was elite. They were the only defense to be in the top 5 pass and run DVOA. So, again, they promoted the defensive coordinator. You would expect that to stick, but we know defenses tend to be less consistent than offenses year to year. So. Little bit of friction there between trends. I don't know. Going forward, to me, I think it starts with that offensive line because that is the spot where they lost Armstead.
Yeah.
And if you have a quarterback coming back from an injury where maybe there's going to be some mental stuff going on, that's not what you want. Now, but
now Armstead, I don't even think he played 50% of the snaps. Like their offensive line was a revolving door last year. Yeah, no, certainly.
Yeah, their tackles missed 16 games. So yeah, you're right. But also, I do think you
would want him there.
If you look across the defense or the offensive line, they don't. There are some areas where they grade out well run blocking. They are just not there pass blocking, and specifically across the middle. When you look at Pete, I think he was maybe the worst or second worst graded out pass blocker amongst guards. McCoy at center, Ruiz is projected to be right. None of these guys are looking to be elite guys. You talk about Trevor Penning on the left tackle getting kicked out of like absolute mauler, going to be awesome in the run game, but his problem was he's a project who can't pass block on left tackle. That's scary. So your right tackle is your only anchor. And I think there's
questions at guard too. Ruiz,
both of them. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I think for me, this is if they're going to come out and just be a power running team. I can buy into that. Troutman's a good blocker. This whole front can run block better than they can pass block. Landry is a good blocker. Michael Thomas always a good blocker. So if you can sell me on the idea that this is like a Baltimore Ravens in the NFC and
Kyle Shanahan
and they're going to play great defense. They're going to run the ball and Winston again 3 interceptions
limit
last
the
year.
Turnovers.
3 interceptions last year, so he might be there. The schedule goes from 10th easiest last year to 12th easiest this year. By win total, negatives. They another team with a late bye week that I wish they would have benefited from an earlier bye week. I do think they're going to miss Sean Payton. Sean Payton is one of the better offensive minds, at least in creating a stable offensive product. I mean, Drew Brees good because of Sean Payton. Partially, I would say he definitely created an offense to allow him succeed.
You mentioned the coaching staff. Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator, now promoted to head coach. They kept Pete Carmichael, who was the offensive coordinator. They kept him in place. So again, it seems like they're trying to keep as much continuity as possible. Certainly, you will miss not having Sean Payton there. A lot of questions surrounding Dennis Allen, or at least his ability to be a head coach. 8-28. In 2.5 years, essentially for the Oakland Raiders, I think at the time. So also he's a big red flag.
Also led a very bad version of this defense for a couple years.
Yeah. But talent wise, it feels like they're pretty solid on defense, right? I mean,
and everyone's back. I think the key again, continuity. They have their players. I mean, again, they brought in Honey Badger. They lost I believe the only starter they lost was in the safety position. They brought in Honey Badger, who again, LSU guy. Maybe there's a little bit more juice playing at home. I don't, or it's a distraction. And like that can
They
go
also
both
brought
ways.
they brought in Jarvis Landry, like you said, good blocking receiver. Should help the passing game a little bit. And Michael Thomas, who again has missed like over a year and a half with this weird ankle injury. By all accounts, quote, it's still hard to guard Michael Thomas. He's looking really good in camp and healthy.
The last we saw him, he was 4 targets, 0 catches. One of the passes when it was intercepted in the playoffs against the Buccaneers. The best thing he did that all day was make a tackle after a fumble. So I would say he's certainly on the revenge path. Like he's if he's back,
he's a big question mark.
If he's back though, you look at his game logs and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. He was the kind of guy that could shoulder a 15 target workload, no problem. Can Olave take the top off the defense?
Olave is interesting. So you have Olave, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas. Now the latest in Alvin Kamara. It seems like his lawyers are going to be able to keep pushing his legal stuff back so that the NFL probably won't suspend him. He most likely won't have a suspension this year. It seems like so far they've been successful in delaying the court. The NFL wants to wait and see what the court says before they issue their suspension. Now, things could change if a video comes out or whatever.
Well, there is a video, I think, and I'm guessing the NFL's already seen the video.
Oh, okay.
Which tells me that they're just going to wait for the court because this is some dude this is probably just some dude who wanted to tell a story to his buddies and get into it with Kamara.
Yeah,
like
it's a fight at a club.
If Sean wanted to go fight Alvin Kamara at a club, like he's putting himself in a bad situation. Like you get knocked the fuck out. It won't happen. We have, I would say 100% certainty it's going to happen after the season.
It seems like that by all accounts.
Very strong.
Unless the video becomes public and the NFL feels like they got to step in.
Mark Ingram's back.
Easy pointing out that Marquez Callaway, interesting. He had 84 targets last year. A lot of those with Jameis Winston. You look at the advanced numbers, Ryan. They are a team that consistently beats their Pythag. Now, is that a Sean Payton thing? Is that a New Orleans thing?
I think it's 100%. I mean, this is a franchise that has cheated. They should have negative karma. They were tapping radios, if you remember. They were somehow involved in the Catholic Church in a very shady way. This is not a team that is getting any sort of positive juju. I think this was 100%. I mean, I'm sure Drew Brees had some effect, depending how far back you go. But Sean Payton, when you have a stable coach who can get the most juice out of the fruit and also just is a smart guy who can adjust. Like what is a Sean Payton offense? Well, it's whatever the best offense for his team was. And so that's what can they replicate that? Can the guy, continuity is great, but Payton kind of changed things around based on the player. Like Drew Brees and Jameis Winston are very different players. The offense wasn't the same. I'll be curious because I would expect them to come out with like their best version of themselves would be kind of what we were saying about the Ravens. Run the rock. Like you have to establish the run. Your offensive line is a weak spot. If you are trailing in games, this team scares me. We could see a relapse. Could we see Jameis 30-30 club Jameis come back this year? Because what happens if they fall behind and people are teeing off on this offensive line?
I think it's one
Penning could be bad.
Yeah, I know you're also out on Penning because the Giants passed on him, Ryan.
No. It wasn't about the Giants passing. I was just in the pre-draft process looking at the linemen. It seemed like a lot of smart lineman people said this guy was an absolute project in the pass blocking game.
At the very best,
but he's a monster.
At the very best, you're starting a rookie at left tackle. So at the most optimistic is like, hey, that's still a pretty big question mark. So
and if Sean Payton was there, I would trust that he could scheme up the offense to help that player. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if I have that same level of trust with. Did you say Carmichael? Is that his name?
Yeah, Pete Carmichael, offensive coordinator.
That's a hilarious name. Pete.
Yeah. So I mean, again, the biggest questions for me, roster wise, seems pretty solid. It seems really just going to be surrounding. Can Dennis Allen run this team as an efficient head coach? I guess there's a couple ways to look at it. Hey, if Jameis starts 17 games, you would think they would win more than 8. But then again, they won 9 last year. He missed a bunch of season. If you lose Sean Payton, is Sean Payton worth at least one win to the negative? Not having him.
Teams were willing to trade allegedly.
Yeah, I mean,
so.
Jerry Jones is rock hard for. I mean, the fact that Mike McCarthy's first coach to be fired odds are so high. I mean, Stephen Jones, or what are the Dolphins owner? What's his name?
Stephen Ross.
Sorry, Stephen Ross lost $1.5 million trying to get him and Tom Brady. So obviously, the league thinks pretty highly of Sean Payton.
And I think we'll go through the schedule here, but I think for me, there's two things going on here. One, the schedule does start nicely for a new head coach, but there are some stretches in here where, as optimistic as I think this could be a team that can play elite defense and run the ball. I don't know if they're going to be able to play in shootouts, and that's where I get concerned. Like, will they be able to play with some of the higher powered offenses? And they seem to catch a decent number of them. So, yeah, I don't know, Sean. I think looking through my notes, trying to see if schedule. I have a couple scheduling notes, which I'll bring up during when we're walking through it. But yeah, I mean, there's also just a lot of reliance on a guy who hasn't played in a while. I mean, again, I get it. He's doing.
Is there a lot of reliance on him? Because I think they brought in Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave to not rely.
Let's walk through that. Jarvis Landry, what does he bring you? Low A dot, gritty blocker, can play the slot, like going to be a reliable target for Jameis Winston. I agree. Maybe he'll be what the tight end won't be, because who knows if Troutman can do it. Thomas still is a guy that like he just gets he's open, so he relaxes the offense because he's going to create an opening, or he's going to create pressure from a double team. Now Olave, he's a speedster, so we haven't spoken about anyone stretching the field yet. So to me,
I think that's why they drafted Olave.
But I think to me, if both those guys don't work out, we're back to last year, which is like a bunch of slot guys. Like who's the guy that every year I'm blanking on his name. He's on the depth chart. Let me pull it up. But I mean, Callaway's fun. He got a lot of targets out of necessity last year. I don't think he got a lot of targets because he's a great player. I think Deontay Harris is fun. Traquan Smith's the guy I'm talking about. Like Traquan, he never was able to work that out in the offense.
I don't know. As far as like stuff I'm worried about,
Kevin White's on this roster.
The receiving core,
first round pick.
I mean, if he makes the team. The receiving core of Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, I'm fine with. I think that's.
I think it looks better than it's going to be.
Okay.
And I think the best version of this team is going to be a run it down your throat kind of team. I like what Mark Ingram brings. I think he can give Alvin Kamara a little bit of freshness, and I just like the look of this offensive line when they're running the ball is going to be good. It's just going to be so bad when they're passing the ball. And Jameis, it's scary. We forget, like, he had one good year. Are we sure he's completely recovered?
No,
because people fall off the wagon all the time, Sean. And I think, all right,
Jameis falling to temptation. I could see it. All right, Ryan, before we get to the schedule, shout out to Odds Trader. Oh man. I mean, even while I'm hosting this podcast, I got oddstrader.com/Blue Wire fired up. They got live odds, some of the best sportsbook promos, deals, sign up offers. They got handicapping information. They got picks. They got pick tracking, really anything you want to do with gambling, player stats, weather. It is your one-stop shop. Oddstrader.com, oddstrader.com/Blue Wire, your number one site for all your game day bets. And again, it's so convenient and easy to have this screen up and just looking at all the, hey, you're looking to bet the Hall of Fame game. You can easily find the best prices there. Whatever you honestly picks, they have some nice AI predictions. There really is a ton going on, even power rankings, all that kind of good stuff. Highly recommend going to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire to get hooked up over there. And again, it's a lot of it. Yeah, you're good to go, man. It is very helpful information. And again, even just finding the best prices, highly recommend going over there. Also, we're brought to you by IP Vanish. IP Vanish, where you can become virtually invisible online. I know what you're thinking. Firing up incognito mode. No one can find me. No one can hack my information. I opened a new incognito window. You're wrong. IP Vanish can help you get your data secure, encrypting 100% of your data. You can also hide your location. You can use it on a streaming device like Fire Stick. And the best part is you can use it on the unlimited devices, your phone, your laptop, your tablet. Very easy. Like the app, you just fire it up. switch on, decide what location you want to be using the VPN from. Very easy to set up and use. And again, if you haven't used a VPN before, highly recommend it. Tons of reasons why you should be using a VPN, and your security and safety number one there. They also have a 30-day money back guarantee. So again, can't go wrong. And 70% off their yearly plan. 70%. That's crazy. IPVanish.com/SGP. Use that promo code SGP. IPVanish.com/SGP. All right, Kramer, let's get to it.
All right. Like I said, there's definitely stretches in this thing where it could be scary. Like you said earlier, the win total is 8. Juice on the over -135, +115 on the under, +350 to win the division, 18-1 to win the conference. That's interesting. It feels almost like a little low. 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. Make playoffs +145, miss -175. All right. First up, at the Falcons, we've got hate week. Bucks at home at Panthers. So just a full dose of division to start the season, which again, new coach. Is that really the way you want to start the season against a bunch of teams that are going to be very motivated to get that dub? And then Vikings at home. Actually, no,
that's
fake home in London. So they lost a home game here. That's never a good thing.
No,
failed to mention that earlier.
I'm gonna go 2-2. They always play the Bucks tough. I'm down on the Falcons. Panthers, I think, could be a little in Carolina's a little tricky. London toss up, but between those four, I think they can eke out 2 wins.
2-2.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can go with that. That feels neutral.
But I mean, they could, they could
go
honestly,
3-1
like the Saints team, I think, is one of the harder teams to handicap because the variance could be through the roof. I mean, the variance of Jameis Winston. To your point, Ryan, we've seen horrible Jameis Winston. We've seen. We briefly saw awesome Jameis Winston. I mean, he was the dog in that Bucks game where he got injured. It was a pretty big bummer. And then on the other side, Dennis Allen is just a massive question mark.
And defense doesn't tend to be as consistent. There's a lot of reasons why this one should be, but if they take a step back and they're not this like awesome unit, ooh, watch out. All right, Seahawks at home, Bengals at home, at Cardinals on Thursday Night Football, and Raiders at home.
I like this run for them. I do.
Some teams that made the playoffs in there, 3 in a row.
Yeah, that's also true. I'll go 2-2, but man, I'm thinking about.
They win the Seahawks.
I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1 because I think they beat the Seahawks and then they win 2 out of those other 3. I think they can be an interesting. I think they can be a tough matchup for some of these other teams.
Yeah, they 3 home games. They get 2 of them. 2-2.
I'm going 3-1.
Ooh. Next up,
this is a tough stretch.
Baltimore at home on Monday Night Football.
Okay.
At Pittsburgh, Rams at home, at 49ers. There are some pass rushes in here.
Yeah. Aaron Donald.
Honestly, the Raiders, I didn't factor that in. This is a tough stretch. Their offensive line had better have figured it out by now.
Well, and because I went on the high side last time, 3-1, I'm going to knock them down to 1-3. Because even at Steelers, that's a tough spot.
I'm going
Ravens. Ravens, I think they might actually have the best chance against them. Rams, I don't know, man. The Matt Stafford arm injury soreness is a red flag to me.
Hot.
I mean, I made a lot of money kind of fading them, even though they won the Super Bowl, fading them ATS there because Stafford, again, as we pointed out, led the league in interceptions, tied with Trevor Lawrence. That back seemed to not be doing well, and now he's got an elbow thing. I think this Rams, and I'll save it for the Rams preview, but it felt like last year was their year, and now it's like this is just like a free year for them. They're not going to be as up for it. And then San Francisco, who I'm not super high on, but I think in San Francisco against a team that might match their physicality and be able to, run the ball down their throat and actually Bosa versus this offensive line. Like I don't love that matchup for them.
And don't sleep on the fact that the Saints have actually been probably a better road team lately, but just real interesting nugget. So we've gone through what, San Francisco, and then the next game would be at Tampa. But listen to this stretch and then the bye week. But listen to the stretch into that bye week. You have Cincy at Arizona, Vegas Raiders, Baltimore at home, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, LA, San Francisco, and Tampa before your bye week. That's 7. That's 8 straight playoff game. No, I'm sorry. The Ravens didn't make the playoff. So
yeah,
the
but
only
non-playoff team.
Oh, this stretch is tough. So yeah, where are we at? We're both at. You're a little bit more bullish than that. You're at
6-6, I think, right?
You're at 6-6. I'm at 5-7. All right, let's do the next 4. At Tampa, late bye week. Atlanta at home. At Cleveland. I guess Watson will be back. Probably not. At Philly.
That back-to-back road games. That's pretty tough. I'll go 2-2.
Where are the 2?
Well, I think the Falcons are.
They lose to the Falcons. They beat the Falcons.
Yeah, and then I think between at Bucks because they play them so well.
That's a Monday night game.
At Browns and at Eagles. Between all those 3, they sneak out 1.
So you're out. All right, I can. They do own the Bucks. You're right.
So
that is just some rent-free shit.
I think the Browns at Eagles. Again, Brissett's probably playing because.
All right, I mean that.
Trevor pointing out, Ryan, how have we gone this far and not talked about Jameis Winston's eye surgery? He said the defenders' numbers looked blurry. Like, come on.
It's like when you
we're talking about post LASIK Jameis.
Bryce Harper, same thing. Like he showed up to Major League Baseball and couldn't see.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you get
how
your
does
eyes
this
fixed?
happen?
Like, how are you seeing a baseball? Like this?
Especially baseball. I mean, NFL football,
he's a quarterback.
Offensive line, I could see it. Maybe linebacker, but quarterback, you need to see downfield.
I just see shapes and colors.
Like what? That's not good.
All right, last game, Carolina.
Yeah, grade that a win.
All right, so I am coming in 8 wins, 8-9. Is that right?
9-8 for me. That makes sense.
I need to revisit 8-9.
Give me the over 8. I know you're paying a little juice on it, but I think 8. I wouldn't say 8's their floor. I think 7 and 10's in the realm of possibilities, but 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins. That window seems, more likely to me than 7. I don't think this is a 6-win team. That floor could happen if Jameis doesn't stay healthy or if that ACL is in his head. But the roster to me is like the defense, very competent. We haven't even really talked that much about Cam Jordan. I think they will be able to get a pass rush, and I think they have enough weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Ryan, maybe I'm a little higher on Olave. I just think this team kind of figures it out. I do think they have a legit home field advantage. Which they lost that one game to the London. I think them running it back at 9-8 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I like a lot of the situations here. I think I need to bump them to 9-8.
Really? I'm convincing you.
No, sure, I'll give you a little credit. That stretch in their schedule is really tough. And I do want to give Sean Payton a lot of credit. So maybe I'll leave it 8 and 9, but I'll lean over. I'll take the over. Like if I had to bet this, I would take over. Cause I do think they're, of the teams we've talked about, we haven't talked about many who have a obvious case to like, hey, if things work out, if they have the best defense in the league and Jameis is back with all these receivers and they can run the ball too, because the offensive line isn't as shitty as we think. Could this team contend? Is this a playoff team that could go on a run in the playoffs because they play really good defense? I mean, and their quarterback takes care of the ball. Sounds a little bit like Eli Manning and the New York Football. No, I want to be high on them because I think it's more likely they're trying to not crater this year. They're investing all this money. They like their dead cap situation going forward is insane. They think they're competing. So
they had a window to blow this up, right? They could have brought in a younger head coach.
They kept everything the same. They're running it back.
And that makes me, pretty high on them. Ryan, your trusted football outsiders say they have a 22% chance to be Super Bowl contenders. Like the DVOA stuff looks really good for them.
Yeah, I mean they got him at 9.4.
Yeah,
mean wins, which again, I just don't that stretch of 8 straight playoff games basically.
yeah,
It's and I gave them 2 wins versus the Bucks, and I still got to 8 and
That's
9.
true.
So maybe I will definitely write down over though, because I do think that their ceiling is, I think they could win the Super Bowl.
yeah.
This is crazy. So
40 to 1 Super Bowl odds.
that's not worth it.
Really? What do you need? 50?
Their futures are strange to me.
Yeah.
Now, do I think they're worth?
Because the win total's at 8, but their make playoffs is only plus 144.
It's like they are aware how bad the division is, and the chance that 2 teams come out of this division is probably fairly high, assuming they don't shit the bed. But the win total and the Super Bowl odd, like the 40 to 1 struck me as a little strange. I don't, maybe is 18 to 1 appealing enough? I feel like the case is more
for them to win the NFC.
Yeah. I feel like the case is more like, let's find Jameis props. Cause if things are going right, it's cause Jameis is going right.
Well, but for me, those are tough to price. So Easy in the YouTube chat says Jameis over 25.5 passing touchdowns is plus money. I'm a little hesitant to pull that trigger on it. I guess 26 is pretty reasonable. I could just see a version, to your point, Ryan, where they are more run heavy, conservative on offense, and letting the defense carry the water for the team. So he did have 14 touchdowns in 7 games.
It's not bad.
So I guess if I had to pick a side, I would go over 25.5 passing touchdowns. To me, I like and I think I gave it out before, but Jameis Winston to have the most passing yards at 40 to 1. I think that is fun because
he could throw for 5,000. He's done it before, hasn't he?
Right. So that's a little bit of a long shot. That would be their defense not being as good. Like he could pass for the most passing yards, and all of a sudden they're 6 and 11.
Passing yards or passing touchdowns.
I like passing yards. I like taking Jameis Winston most passing yards 40 to 1 because the upside case is there. To me, I'd rather take that than win the Super Bowl. There's a couple different scenarios that you could get there. One is if the offense ends up clicking, Olave's a beast, Michael Thomas, Kamara run after catch, Michael Thomas run after catch, or the defense isn't as good, falls apart a little bit, and they're playing catch up a bunch. So there's like a couple different scenarios where they could get to that passing yardage. That to me is I'm a little scared from the touchdown perspective because I do think there's gonna be some Taysom Hill stuff. They paid this guy $10 million. He's gonna be on the field. There's gonna be designed Taysom Hill runs from the quarterback position. As annoying as it is,
you think
there's
so?
gonna be Mark Ingram goal line carries. Like
that's for sure.
I think the hey, if everything works right for the Saints, the way to play that is Jameis Winston most passing yards at 40 to 1. I will also make playoffs at plus 144.
Really?
Yeah. You're not taking that?
I get that the NFC is weak. I don't know. I guess I'm worried about the case where the offensive line sucks and Jameis gets hurt again. Like, isn't that a fairly simple? And they almost made the playoffs last year with that case, huh?
Yeah, it kind of breaks down to
I don't have a good feeling on this team.
What do you think? What do you think Jameis' health situation is going to be like? How much do you factor in no Sean Payton?
That's the thing. I think he is going to be worth a win or two.
Yeah, which is fair, but I think I'm projecting Jameis to be healthy for most of the season, so I think that's also worth a win or two, and that's why I got him going 9-8 like they did last year.
Let's start.
And for me, the fun prop to play is Jameis Winston most passing yards. Well, also on make playoffs, and then over 8 at 9-8.
Okay, so if things go well, if he has the most passing yards, I mean, I guess are we out on the MVP conversation? 80 to 1. Is Jameis the kind of guy that could get offensive player of the year?
I mean, what is he most improved? I guess I would look at that or no, comeback player of the year.
Most improved. What league are we talking about?
No, sorry, I meant comeback player of the year. Can you pull up those
Most
odds?
improved player, Jameis Winston. He's 550 comeback player of the year.
Oh, so there's no value there.
What I was gonna say is I'm almost more intrigued. We've been talking about the straight over, but I'm almost more intrigued to not play the regular win total and play the alt total.
Okay, what's the alt total?
9 is plus 135.
Okay, so you know what? All right, then actually,
Because
you know
I feel like
do?
I don't really want to lay minus 135 on this team because there's a case for them to be. They are a little fragile.
I'll take.
But they are 100% trying hard this year to win games, and I'm giving into a push. I guess this price probably isn't right. I gotta do some calculations.
You know what? But I was going back and forth. I would
maybe I just like your make playoffs then.
Because I think
talked myself into that.
At 9 and 8, you could probably get in the 7th spot.
So
that would
NFC,
be a push. That would be a push at 135 or cash at plus 144.
I'll sprinkle that. I'll also bring it up. I'll also bring this one up because I wrote this one. I noted it seemed like a fun one. If they're excelling, is there a version where Chris Olave really has a good season, has the most rookie receiving yards?
He's interesting rookie of the year. I mean, the fact that we're seeing Kenny Pickett struggle in camp and like he's pretty much out. Who are those rookie receivers? To me, also, like I think New Orleans, they gave up so much to get Olave. I feel like he has to be a big part of their offense. So I
better
think
be good.
I think volume wise, his path is pretty good.
So I'm doing the math. And I think the odds are better than even a mechanical parlay, which you wouldn't be able to find anywhere. But if you wanted to bet on Olave to have the most rookie receiving yards in the wild, that's like 5-1 plus 550.
But wouldn't you bet rookie of the year?
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Parlay it with Saints make the playoffs. The parlay is probably going to pay around like 12-ish to 1, 15-1. You can find it as a prop. Olave most receiving yards and Saints are it says a wild card seed. I hate when they do that.
Yeah,
they're screwing us.
It's
like the double zero on the roulette.
Here's what we got: over 8 because we have to take over under. Jameis Winston, most passing yards 40-1, and then make playoffs plus 144. Those are my official Saints bets, and they'll be an interesting team to bet week to week. I think.
Are you? I'm very underweight on all Saints in best ball. Are you
I
drafting?
Have a couple.
I don't have any Jameis stacks.
I have a number of second Jameis stacks.
Okay.
And I'm pissed at myself for not having Olave. I'm already working with Terrell on our Jameis Olave week 1 DFS stack.
Nice.
So I will be playing Olave early, I think, in DFS. And that's going to be pretty fun. Ryan, talking about drafting, of course, draft day, drafting for Daryl coming up Tuesday, noon Pacific, 24 hours. Ryan will be locked in this room, drafting best ball teams, raising money for charity. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft day. Get all the info there. You can watch live, you can stream live, you can draft with Ryan. I'll appreciate you guys donating as well.
Oh, you can be nice about it. If we don't raise twice the goal.
Wow.
I'm going to be fucking disappointed. Cause I'm literally bringing in a bag of cash.
Yes.
Fuck it. I mean, we're flush right now, about to put the NFL account deposit in.
Ka-ching.
The crypto. Yeah. So again, if we don't 2x, I might even go 3x, but I'm going to start with 2x. I need some big whales to come in.
sportsgamblingpodcast.com/draft day.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
A lot of fun there.
Sean, we got to share the YouTube video again. It's surfacing. People are wondering what that is.
All right, we'll pull it up.
What is that noise?
Oh, an easy point now. Nick Vannett first touchdowns loading. Yes,
Hello.
he is on my radar for first touchdown. He definitely fits my model. Hey, if you're watching live on YouTube, we're going to be back live here in less than or about 3 hours, doing a Hall of Fame game pregame show and NFL futures. You can get into the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord live show, counting you down to the start of the NFL season. As always, toss us a nice rating and review on Apple Podcasts, screenshot it, Submit it in the contest tab in the SGPN app. Giving away weekly $50 gift cards to the SGPN store. Get a mug, get a hat, get a shirt, get some joggers, get it all.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Never forget, Taysom Hill got a 4-year, $40 million contract.
Kramer, let it ride.